Hi, my name is Lloyd Spencer, CEO of CoroWare, and we're here today to talk about crowdfunding and regulation crowdfunding. I'd like to introduce three people today who'd be here to talk about this. First, there's Shannon Gerard from CoroWare.
Hi, I'm our corporate secretary, and I want to find out how this does or does not apply to companies like ours.
And we have Bill Mounts, who's the director of the Northwest Advanced Technology Cluster. And Bill, you're here to talk a little bit about.
Glad to be here, and Sarah and I have had many discussions, so this will be an interesting dialogue.
And finally, Sara Hanks, who is the CEO of Crowdcheck. And Sara, tell us a little bit about what Crowdcheck does and how it pertains to crowdfunding.
Okay, well, Crowdcheck was founded to answer the question, why would anybody in their right minds buy shares in an unknown small company over the internet? And I think the answer is nobody would unless someone they trusted, such as Crowdcheck, had checked it out for them. So that's what we do. We do due diligence on companies raising funds online.
And you wrote this paper, it's about 25 pages, and I understand, though, that the regulations themselves go a little bit beyond the 25 pages.
Yeah, here's the original, right? Including the paperwork reduction analysis,
right.
Which is always an irony for the SEC. But there's almost 600 pages there, including a lot of questions that the SEC is asking of people to comment on.
I'd like to first thank you for sparing us 575 pages that we have to go through otherwise. So what is Regulation CF, or Regulation Crowdfunding? And maybe you can start off with just generally what is crowdfunding and how does the SEC, how does this all kind of fit together?
Okay. So crowdfunding is selling shares or bonds in small companies to everybody over the internet. Before now, that's not been possible for a couple of reasons. If you do stuff over the internet, it's a public offering, and you have to register that with the SEC. And being able to sell small startups or very small businesses has traditionally been the realm of accredited investors, that is, people who are rich enough to be able to be deemed to take care of themselves. So this is a huge new thing, being able to sell really early stage companies and small companies in general over the internet to mom and pop investors.
You know, this was interesting. I looked through the synopsis that Sarah created, and it's not for companies like CoroWare. We're a publicly reporting company. It's for the earlier startup ones. It's for companies that are trying to get their startup capital and get going, and they don't want to go to somebody like a major investor or a venture capitalist who's going to take some of the control away. It allows a lot of, as Sarah said, mom and pop, regular people to invest. But from what I understand, it really limits how much they can invest so that they don't take a big hit in their much more limited resources.
So Sarah, when we said an SEC reporting company would not participate in this, can you give us an example of companies that could?
Well, it's everybody who isn't already, if you're not an investment company, that is a company that holds interest in other companies, you're not a blank check company, that is someone who's just been set up to acquire something else. If you're an operating company, however small and however large, actually, before you go to the fully reporting step with the SEC, you can take advantage of this. And I think we're going to see different categories of company taking advantage. Some of them will be just like the neighborhood coffee shop, companies that are never going to go to an IPO, but they want to include their community and they want to be involved and give everyone a chance to take a stake in their success. Then you've got the true startups, the small tech companies, who will be able to use crowdfunding to get, say, seed financing and get themselves to the next stage before they get venture capital funding, for example. So there's no limitation other than if you're already reporting. The SEC really wants you to stay reporting because this is a miniature version of reporting. There are disclosure requirements. and information supplying requirements, but it's a miniaturized version. They're trying to make it budget friendly for the small companies.